July the 4th is.
July the
Yeah,
4th.
baby.
What
I,
well, we're as your British cousins, we don't know how to act. Should we be celebrating or should we be feeling ashamed, sad, and distressed? Because this year, 4th of July, what is America celebrating after all the nonsense that they've been through? I want to get to quickly this Kenneth Boykin. I love his Twitter thread. He's amazing. Um,
What do you
Let me
say?
just get to her. No, Keith. Sorry, my bad. Keith Boykin. He says an unarmed black man shot 60 to 90 times by police in Akron. 10 black people murdered in a grocery store in Buffalo. White supremacists marching in the street of Boston. The Supreme Court taking away a woman's rights to control her own body, and they call it Independence Day. Keith Boykin is an American. He's an author of Race Against Time: The Politics of a Darkening America. I love his Twitter threads. He breaks down history, race, and he's unapologetic about it. He's brilliant. But that's his points. Guys.
Do they have anything to celebrate? They don't.
I don't think they do. I'm so sorry, because if you even think about the 4th of July, the slaves were still slaves at that time. So that's why they have Juneteenth. Obviously, the American independence was once, and then slavery still happened. So I know a lot of African Americans they feel some kind of way in response to the American independence, because they were not independent. So even till today, as you said, look at what's been going on in America right now. That country is just, I don't know what's going on. It's backtracking on itself. I mean, to be fair, I think the backtrack has always been there. Ever since Donald Trump came into power as a president, it seems as if he just unleashed Armageddon. And everybody and their mama who felt some kind of way has just, things that we know that there's police brutality in America, but it's gotten worse. I don't even know what they're celebrating. I'm sorry. I really don't think they're celebrating anything should be celebrated right now. I'm sorry. There's
Sorry,
too much.
Oh no. So I was just jumping because I was looking at Twitter to see any commentary, and apparently shots have been fired just more or less not long ago at a 4th of July parade in Highland Park, Illinois. Initial reports say 30 injured, 6 dead.
Wow. And that's just today.
That's breaking now. More than 30 shots fired on the 4th of July parade, Highland Park, Illinois. Yeah. Police are searching for the suspect described as a white male between the age of 18 and 20.
There we go.
And that's on Twitter now. And that's a 4th of July parade.
Another young white male out there on a rampage with a gun. Like, there's nothing to celebrate. They were even talking about like striking, like women going on like a mass strike on the 4th of July. All of that. I don't know. I really wonder with America, if this was somewhere else in the world, America would be saying we need to invade that country. So who is going to save America from America? I truly believe they need saving. Like, somebody needs to come in and like take over. It's ridiculous. That killing of the young guy. I couldn't even. I don't know why I clicked. It's J something. I think it's like Jalen. I think, or Jaden.
1 second. His name is Jalen Walker. So that's police killed Jalen Walker, a black man in Ohio, by shooting him dozens of times as he ran from officers following a traffic stop.
Because he was hounded. I can only imagine. So this is footage that the police have released. And if I was him, I would have ran for my life, hoping to have got to some type of safety, because they were going on like this was a full-on lynching, like screaming, like as if they were going after a dog. And this is somebody who just had a traffic violation and was unarmed. 90 bullets.
Apparently the police in Akron are saying, we'll see the footage, have said that Walker 25 fired a gun at officers who were pursuing him.
And by all accounts, they have nothing. Like, they're saying that there's some type of residue and it's like one bullet or something. And I believe that's probably from one of them. But the footage I was seeing, the police officer is running towards the car, shooting. Why are you doing that? Like, literally, it's like a video game or something. Like, he's just shooting aimlessly, going, ah! Like, what happened to you guys? 90 bullets at one human. And then after, they still handcuffed him. It's like,
that's the part. And also, and it's again, we talked about, it's a traffic violation. Let him go.
if he runs, if he did something, it's traffic. He hadn't killed anybody in your face, so it doesn't really make sense that they were so violent with it all.
I think for me personally, I feel as if that when it comes to black men, they just get triggered and they just let loose. A lot of these police officers, God forgive me for saying this, I feel as if they go into being police officers because really and truly they have severe hate for any person of color.
Yeah.
Because if it was a traffic stop and the boy ran away, there's so many, you could, even if you want to like tase him or something, you know, you could have found, sorry, 1 second, I've got somebody at the door.
No problem. It's exactly that. It's reassessing the need to arrest somebody. I understand as a police officer, it's like, okay, so we just let everybody go? No. But to the point where did a traffic stop, George Floyd, what rumored a fake 20 was my man who selling cigarettes, Skittles in his hand and a hoodie for Trayvon. The fuck?
But then you can have that guy that went into the church and shot 10 people, leave and get a burger. He killed people, but you were able to arrest him.
Right.
Like, it's beggars belief. And again, I'm glad that they're protesting, but when does it end? Like the country needs saving. They actually, like, it's so lawless there, and for them to be a superpower with nuclear arms, the world needs to be like, these guys are absolutely not of sound mind to have nuclear power. Like nobody is of sound mind to do that. Like not one president. They shouldn't be allowed to have this. You can say that to other nations. You can say to nations, no, we don't believe that you should have nuclear weapons. How is America allowed to have nuclear weapons? Who's trusting these guys? They're killing their own. They'll end the world and be like, oh well, this is how it goes. That's how the cookie crumbles.
So, you know, 4th of July, bro. We don't have our resident American Ronald in the house. I would like to know how he's feeling.
I know
about it. And then
Ronald, we need you to tell us what's going on the ground over there.
Because also just a quick one, because on the back in time for possibly Independence Day, there was a black family. Let me get the story up. There was a black family in America who had their beach stolen from them back in the racist days, which never went. Hold on, let me get the story proper.
So what happened was they both, if you look at the story with that one, they bought the land over 100 years ago, even more than that. You do realize that it's the same thing that happened in Central Park. Central Park was actually owned by black people, and they took it back off them as well.
There you go.
So after years and years and back and forth, they've actually given the land back. And what's going to happen is the state of the LA or whatever, San Francisco, is now going to lease the land back from them every year. But can you imagine you've paid for your land and then they collect it back from you? And
this is what this is what they did. I think when they set up the beach. It was the Willa and Charles Bruce who purchased the land for $1,225 in 1912.
So that's a crazy amount of money even then. Anyway,
it was.
They raised that wealth. They bought a beach because they weren't allowed on normal beaches, and the white people in the neighborhood just harassed them. They caused problems. They called the police on them. They did this and made it so uncomfortable. Then the council just decided that you can't have this land. We're going to build. They think they were going to build accommodation stuff. They never did. The land has just been there, landing, not doing anything. And now the family have got it back. But imagine all that.
So it's over 100 years.
100 years later that they got the land back. But if you think about it, if they have allowed them to build on that property, build on the place, how much money that thing would have accumulated wealth over years and years and years. And this is the biggest issue that African Americans have, is accumulating wealth in America. Because every time they do something, look at Rosewood, look at Tulsa, they'll go down there and burn it. They'll find a reason to burn. You moved out. You told us we cannot be with you. We now go somewhere. We now build our own churches. Because if you think about Rosewood, apart from what I get, Rosewood and Tulsa, that they had their own church, they had their own hospitals, schools, banking.
Everything.
There was a photo of all the big black professionals, all men, that they had grocery stores. They really had made it was Black Wall Street. And that's not the only town that they did that to.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not one, a couple of towns. They would not find a reason to, because they were thinking, why are Black people living more than we are? But we're thriving here. You've asked us to leave your town. We've gone somewhere else. We've packed our loads.
Minding our own business.
Thank you. But I just feel as if the depth of racism, inept racism in America, that as far as you're Black, you're not allowed to accumulate anything. You're not allowed to accumulate wealth. And this is the problem with Black people at the moment in America. Accumulating wealth is their biggest issue. Redlining. They want to buy a property. Even when you want to try and buy a house, the amount of the interest rate they put on it for you, it's nuts.
Well, but it's not too far off here as well.
It's
like,
here too. Same.
Line for line on loans, Black people generally we're going to pay more for a loan. Yeah. But also, when you look at segregation in America, how well Black people were doing before we had integration, you see that there's a parallel. Actually, it wasn't through just civil rights. It's actually economically, they could see these guys have amassed so much, we need in on this.
Yep.
So it goes hand in hand. It's like we kind of have this rose-tinted spectacles when it comes to the Kennedys, like they helped, like they were working with Martin Luther King, and no, it was in their interest to actually end segregation because they needed Black pounds. And so once you diminish how Black people can run by themselves and how powerful they can be, and you have them integrated, and then you also oppress them, it's a perfect concoction for white supremacy. It's like, actually, and I'm not even saying that we need to go back to the days of segregation, but we absolutely need to harp on the days of doing for ourselves.
Definitely.
Like, being integrated into society. Who's winning? We just have to look around. Who benefited from us having integration?
Exactly.
And look from that standpoint, and it is like, actually, it's not benefited us in any way.
It's really not. It's really, 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 really not. And as we were saying, we're not saying let's go back into the days where there's you can get killed for crossing into a white town and all that type of shit, or get killed or arrested for drinking from a white fountain.
Have you guys heard recently that they've actually found the arrest warrant to arrest
for
Emmett Till's death?
Yeah.
And the woman, she's in her 80s, and they said that they should arrest her, they should try her. That if they can still be trying Nazis in Germany at 100, I think the oldest Nazi they just tried recently was 101. They tried this man that he had war crimes and he should go and suffer for it. They should be able to arrest this woman. And apparently, the reason why they didn't arrest her at that time was because she was a lone parent or something of that nature. I think she and her husband, I don't even know what's going on, but they found her. They know who she is, and she moved and changed her name. Yeah. This woman caused the fact a 14-year-old boy, you lied that he whistled at you as the boy did not do anything. And if you guys remember the story of Emmett Till, his mom allowed, when they were basically trying to bury him, she asked them to open the casket so they can see his badly beaten face. This small boy, a 14-year-old boy, grown man, what's he going to do with this white woman? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
when you hear stories, and I don't know if you remember this story, another story of this another young boy who was convicted for killing two small children, and after 70 years, they finally, cancelled the conviction, and he was the youngest person in America to have been electrocuted. Yeah, exactly. And then they basically had to stack two Bibles together for him to sit, so that even the helmet.
Yeah, it's like what they've done, and it's true, as you say, Auntie Nana, how dare they have the rights to all the weapons when they're culturally, inherently, there's madness and a sickness. But I always say, I hate when Black people say we can't work together. It's not true. And we have a legacy of just surviving and coming through and pulling through, especially, obviously, back in our home countries. We have our infighting, but that's normal, like human. We're humans, but we can definitely work together to build. And in those days, we did. Whole towns, whole networks, whole systems. And because of jealousy and fear of losing power, the Ku Klux Klan and greed, the Ku Klux Klan, aka police people, wiped out Black towns.
Just wholesale. It's actually shocking how they do it. And they continue to do it in small ways. To today. We know that there's agents whenever we are moving in a direction. I always say this, 2008, when there was that spate of people going back home, especially to Ghana.
Yes.
Like, literally, we are going back home. Wholesale people were going. All of a sudden, Ghana is hit with so many light-offs. You couldn't even get your business off the ground. That just seemed to just take place. It was like people were growing their businesses, then light-off starts take. And you know, if we had still kept on going, they probably would have somehow stopped us from going for visas. They would have done something. They say get out of the country, but when you start leaving, like actually we can better ourselves here, they stop you from doing it. They do it in little ways when we start getting community, when we have organizations, then before you know it, this one's in fighting there, this money's gone missing. They always stop us from getting together. The only way to do it is not through organization, is
100%,
self-determining what you're doing and keeping it to yourself, and just everybody having a mindset shift to just do what you're doing and move away from it. But you know, we can't do it in an organization. They infiltrate it
too much. We must move on. Just wanted to let you guys know, by the way, the Queen is getting a 30 million bonus from our taxes. Are you okay with that? I don't think you are.
Hey, look, Baton, 30 million bonus for what?
Because apparently there's a thing where her earnings cannot drop by force. So I mean, I don't want to get, we need to get into Auntie's business,